back with another episode of the Bad Ideas podcast with Mr. Ajit Ghuman. Welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Nick.
So, you're the CEO of Monetizely and you're an author on SaaS pricing.
hmm
What does Monetizely do and what compelled you to write about such a fascinating topic as SaaS pricing?
Yeah, so Monetizely, we are a SaaS pricing consulting firm. We're actually one of the only few consulting firms that actually even build products. So in one
Mhm.
way, we're a product firm that does consulting, but really we're a consulting firm that builds product on this domain. And especially as you get more and more AI offerings, we're working more on vibe pricing as well. So we'll be doing
Mhm.
consulting, and everything that we do, we're going to automate, so that pretty
Yeah.
soon we'll reach the vision of vibe pricing. So we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see how that goes.
Uh, well,
Uh,
explain what's vibe pricing to you.
it's just, you know, historically, pricing has been one confusing because you don't really know the exact setup or structure to follow when you're doing pricing, and then you have to learn a lot of math, you either math or excel sheet, spreadsheet, data wrangling, um, testing. So uh, at the end of the day, what any consultant does, they want to do repeatably, right? So consultants are going to
Mhm.
build tools internally, but when you're building internally, might as well make that available for people externally, such that we see a vision where people can just tell their AI, like, hey, I want to build pricing for X product, and it takes you through the step by step, in a step by step fashion. And you still have to do the work. It's not as if this is not completely autonomous, but I
Mhm.
can completely foresee a place where people can just configure pricing on their own or get help from someone like us.
All right. And you're trying to build products that can help them do that. So there's kind of
Yes,
two
yes,
offerings from the same point. Okay.
yes.
All right. And then authorship. So you have a book out.
Yeah, so I first published my book on SaaS pricing in 2021. I was still working with a
Mm,
company at the time. I just enjoyed pricing. I'm a career product marketer, and I realized that uh,
yeah.
see, in marketing, it's very hard to provide tangible, attributable results, especially in a field like product marketing. If you're in demand gen, if you're in sales, it's easier because you have numbers to hit. But when you're in product marketing, everything is very fuzzy. So when I first did a pricing project, I'm like, I can literally impact revenue if I do this job correctly, and I can prove it with the before and after quite easily. So that made me just switch tracks from product marketing to specifically focus on pricing. That's when I wrote the first edition of
Hmm.
my book. We have a second edition out now as well, that as of last October. So I basically just doubled down on that in my career.
Hmm. Tell us. I mean, you've worked at some huge companies. Talk us through some of the most transformative experiences for you.
I think I have in my I have not worked with too many huge companies, and when I have worked with huge companies like Twilio, I would not say the
Huge.
experience was transformative. I would say
Really?
the experience was clunky, disorganized,
Really?
uh,
Oh man.
a waste of money for the company and a waste of time for me.
Oh
And
geez. Sorry to
I
hear that.
believe, like, I was hired into Twilio when the company was like 8,000 people. They really
Mm.
had no clue why they were hiring certain people, and they did not have too much of a clue what to do with us. When you are there and then your seniors have $1 million salaries which they're trying to protect without having any work, it's a complete CYA season. So big companies, I am not a fan of.
Yeah.
I think the incentives at big companies are to just to protect yourself, do politics, survive, and
Hmm.
that's a waste of a life. Like, you have one life to live, why
Oh
live it in
geez.
such a shitty way?
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, outside the fact that you went in at a director level there is pretty
Uh-huh.
exciting.
Yeah,
It
yeah, that
seems
was
to
the promise.
validate it for you.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
We
Yeah.
worked on some usage based pricing stuff, try to save the
Hmm.
company from themselves. Hopefully that worked to some extent. But I think the transformative experience are more as smaller companies or high growth companies. My
Yeah.
earlier stints where I did some pricing work at Narvar, I think that was very instructive. It was in an environment where the incentives were not like a big company, so we really wanted
Yeah.
it to work. Also, I think one of my favorite experiences, or one of my foundational experiences, was with a company called Medallia back in the day, where I worked when the company grew from 100 to 1,000 people by the time I left. I think that was one of the best cultures I've seen in the valley. Also, the most like high growth phases where we had one of the best sales teams in the valley, enterprise sales team. So those experiences I enjoyed much more, right? And
Hmm.
that small, growing from a small company to trying to grow bigger, that is the most enjoyable phase in my opinion, and
Hmm.
and transformative both for the company and for the person.
Yeah. All right. Good insight. It's so cool that you were at the top at Twilio, brand that everybody knows. But now, so you spend most of your time consulting with small companies and startups, or mid market, or companies trying to get into mid market.
Even bigger companies, no, we work
Yeah.
across the board. We work with
Yeah.
seed stage companies, series A. We recently finished a project with a close to IPO, so 120 million ARR company. So it's
Hmm.
across the board. And yeah, so pricing is, once you kind of get the
That's
hang
your
of it,
thing.
it's not very different in different contexts. It's just that organizational complexity or product complexity tends to increase, but the work actually scales. So
Hmm.
we tend to do across the board.
That's awesome. All
Yeah.
right. All right. Well, good to hear your background and that you're building things and consulting at the same time. I liked the consulting firm that builds products positioning too, because usually people go the other way. Um, for the purpose of our chat, we're going to look at something really horrible and see if we can turn that into a business.
All right.
And it's good to know that we'll look at this through a pricing lens because
Sure.
that's your superpower.
Sure.
So you ready to find out what crap we got to deal with today?
Sounds good.
All right, let's take a look. Our bad idea for the day is Auto Reply AI Mentor. Boost user engagement by having AI send personalized daily motivational emails to every SaaS user, marketed as nurturing product adoption, but flooding. Yeah. It looks like basically an AI tool that does your product nurturing for you.
Okay. Where do you come up with this stuff?
We don't.
Okay.
So actually, we have a training data set that's based on Reddit. So our first like
Okay.
50 bad ideas were just straight from Reddit.
Okay. Okay. Interesting.
Um, and we're constantly prowling for more, but we kind of like mix and match depending on
Okay.
who we're
Awesome.
talking to. And they don't tell me, so the ideas come new to
Okay.
me as well.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Um,
Okay.
what's your initial reaction? So it
Yeah.
seems like it's AI trying to do like onboarding and nurture flows without any oversight, which
Right.
seems scary to me.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting, if it's so specific that you're trying to provide motivational quotes via AI, or something like, is the product about motivation? I really wonder what the product's
true,
about.
true story. I have a friend who runs a $10 million business that's primarily marketed through motivation, and like the products he sells have nothing to do with the way that they market,
Oh,
but it's
really?
wildly effective. Yeah, wildly effective. Um,
Interesting.
yeah, maybe the world is too dark. People just want to hear
Yeah.
something nice, and they'll buy product to get to it.
That well, that's interesting. Just have like a positive feed, and like, yeah, this is unrelated to anything, but if you want to keep reading, keep reading.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, you're in the SaaS space. I think I we do a lot of work in the e-com space, and I think because of Shopify, everything's plugin based. So like you can
Hmm.
install SaaS tools in a second. It's like it's very easy to run a pretty meaningful business with like one or two people using software tools. And I think this bad idea, like this like AI nurturing, is trying to tap into that. Where like, oh, like instead of having a product marketer, I'm going to use this AI tool that's going to send it's going
Yeah.
to use motivation to nurture my people for me. So I'll just plug
Yeah.
this in and focus on
Yeah.
acquisition, and I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Um,
I wonder
what's
how bad it really is.
yeah?
I wonder because the reason I wonder is a lot of this pre-canned sequences. What is it competing with? Pre-canned sequences that, hey, you have done step one, now you are going to do step two. the third day you're going to get an email for step 3, the fourth day you're going to get an email for step 4, and you haven't done these steps like they are, like you're supposed to. So by the time you're on day 3 or 4, you're like, why am
What
I
is
getting
this?
day 5?
Yeah.
Why am I getting day 6?
Yeah.
What are you nurturing? Because I'm not even listening, right?
Yeah.
So I think that is the motivation is better than step 1, step 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, because you're not making me anxious. Hey, I haven't done the homework that you wanted me to do. And if you
Because it's positive, it's not helpful, but it makes you feel good, which is all right.
but see, the state of the art is pretty bad, right? Like what's out there is pretty bad. What you would
True.
ideally want is, you would want the usage data to correlate. Like, if you haven't really done anything, why would you keep pestering the user? It's really based on how much you've used. Should you say, I've seen that you've been doing this thing, like, here is what you can try next, or something that is actually responsive to what you are
Hmm.
doing in the app at the user level. I haven't seen that sort of nurturing flow so far. The best I've
Hmm.
seen is, we haven't seen you log in for 28 days, log in again. The board
Yeah.
is waiting for you.
Yeah.
Join us.
Yeah. That's interesting. So you think just because it's not generic, it might actually be good?
It might not suck because the other things suck even more.
All right. All right. Okay. So we have like that's our marketing. Like, don't be boring and do it easily. The easy way not to be boring. Um, and it's
Yeah.
it's a SaaS tool, so it's always like a free trial for 30 days or 14
Yeah.
days or whatever, and
Yeah.
then you're a
Yeah.
subscription. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, your cost is really for AI tokens, right? Because the email,
Hmm.
like, that's negligible and that's infinite scale. So it's just some nominal subscription fee for AI tokens and someone to monitor performance. Like, is that the
Yeah.
business?
Well, I don't think this is a product. I thought we were talking about a feature.
You think this is just a feature?
Yeah. Yeah. I
A
thought this
feature of
was.
what?
I think this was a nurture flow to some SaaS product. That's what I thought
Yeah.
it was.
It's so I'll read it again. So a auto reply AI mentor.
Okay.
So yeah, it's kind of a feature, but it seems like it's positioned
Yeah.
standalone.
Yeah.
Like,
This is the thing with these Reddit sort of
yeah,
people. Like, they're just hackers. They're just hacking something away. They think they have a what is a product? Like, I think we can rant a little bit. This is the year 2025, when products were being built, when the internet was started. You literally could not send email before you got Hotmail, right? Like, now you have a product. Before,
yeah,
or maybe when I graduated from grad school, the Uber guys were around, and that was pretty cool, that
order a
your
car.
location
Yeah,
could be tracked, and now you could grab a car, like, in the real world. Like, that was a product. Or even back in the day, when I was working for these companies like Medallia, research used to be happening on paper, and now you've suddenly digitized it. Now the concept of a product has become, I'm going to make 10 lines of code and ship it and say it's a product. So our standards are pretty low for what we say,
yeah,
something is a product. This is just not even a feature. Like, literally, you can build an app over a weekend now. So yeah,
yeah.
I think to say something like this is a feature is, I think that is the biggest problem that I see. Or
Well,
product, sorry.
for the purpose of the show, consider it a product. Like, I'm thinking about it as an alternative to like your Mailchimp. So
Okay.
it's not like innovative. It's just, instead of you setting timing, you're
Mm-hmm.
setting rules. So like, you
Mm-hmm.
give the AI, like, once you get the person to this stage, then you
Mm-hmm.
start setting them these. But
Yeah.
like, I think that's what this is trying to get away from, because, to your point, most automated onboardings are crap, and that's
Yeah.
because the product marketers running them, like, either have way too much to do, or it's their side gig, and
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
kind
But
of
yeah,
neglected.
even so, how does, what makes a product a product? I think what I'm trying to say is, a product has to be not a
Yeah.
commodity. A
So
product has
let's
to
make it,
be a
yeah,
differentiated thing.
unique. Unique. So if we make this unique, what if, for example, it runs off a centralized data set that is learning from every brand it's connected into and
Yeah.
applying those learnings? So
Yeah,
like if you're
yeah,
plugged into this thing, you're lifting alongside
yeah.
everybody else
Yeah, I
type
think
of
it
thing.
could be cool. I mean, if you were to brainstorm functionality, I think that's where you
Mm-hmm.
plug in usage data to this and
Mm-hmm.
bring together a lot of the usage data to actually contextually know where the user is at, and maybe bring
Yeah.
together some like sort of like psychological data, like what tends to be the blocker for people and what is most
Mm-hmm.
likely to give them the right knowledge, right? But that's not
Mm-hmm.
the premise that you told me in the beginning. You said it's just
It's
an AI
motivational
that has
memes.
motivational stuff. So at that point it is a joke.
Literally, literally, um, literally. But do you think this could be something? I mean, your first reaction was that the joke is better than what we're doing now, which I think is hilarious.
Right,
But
right.
if it is, then
I,
there's
I mean,
something.
the joke is a better feature than the existing features, but I don't think. You see, the premise that you put, right? I look at this as an improv premise, right?
Yeah,
You're given this
yeah,
thing, and now you have to do this like comedy set based on this premise. I don't know how much you've done improv before,
yeah,
so
yeah,
so with the premise, all I can say riff on that is that SaaS is dying, right? There is no
yeah,
AI has killed SaaS. There's not going to be software engineers going forward. It's going to be an antiquated degree in just 2 years.
yeah.
So SaaS, what are people charging? Companies like DocuSign are charging money for a simple signature. People, literally the other day, I saw somebody on Twitter built a DocuSign like lookalike and DocuSign sued them. Like, how can you sue somebody for building an e-signature product? There are
Yeah,
tons of these out there, but
yeah.
now it takes a weekend to build. When 2 years
Mhm,
ago I was starting my company, I had a whole MVP and prototype, and I spent $70,000 just to get that MVP built. Now I can literally
mhm.
build that MVP for $200 in Claude Sonnet credits or
Yeah,
tokens,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So all of that SaaS is gone. It is completely commoditized. I'm not even saying this is not a feature, but other products that are bigger products, even like
Yeah,
CRMs, are not
yeah,
not going to be products. There is going to be a massive merging or unmerging, right? So you're at an
yeah.
inflection point where this is just like asking after 6 months what's going to happen. Somebody's going to like, hey, I want this feature, plug in this data, do this, and you're like, yeah, I've done it. Here it works, go check it out.
Yeah, yeah. You
So
don't need an app anymore.
we're
So
at a
yeah. So
very
what happens?
interesting inflection.
So all these companies you think are just gone, or they get absorbed? Like what?
I think the
What's?
existing there's going this is there's we are in the times of a massive reset.
Mhm,
I My thesis is that SaaS companies start to look like services companies if they want to survive, because they
mhm.
add extra human layer of personalized help, provide human to human interactions to actually give
So it
you
goes.
good
Yeah,
guidance. And then
yeah.
services companies start to look like more SaaS companies, because they can start to productize and repeatably offer what they were doing, and it costs
Mhm.
them less effort. So I call it the great convergence.
Yeah.
But
Interesting.
yeah, but SaaS as it stands, unfortunately, does not have many legs to stand on, given how fast AI is
Yeah,
moving.
yeah. It's moving super fast. That's an interesting perspective. So you see the yeah, the great convergence. Like software is coming closer to human, and
Yeah.
human process is getting more productized.
So
Um,
yeah, so
what?
the value of the human being is increasing,
Yeah,
because
which is
earlier
great.
the value of the code was high, right?
Yeah.
And now since the value of the code is very low, it's like water and electricity. The value of the human being actually starts to increase.
Hmm. Unique creativity again. All right.
Yes, yeah.
So what are you guys going to do if most of the focus has been on SaaS pricing?
We
What
are
do you?
that's why we're a services company who is also building product.
So you're going to aid in the convergence.
Yes, yes, yes.
Interesting. So you'll help service companies learn how to price like a product company.
Or help product companies have more services. The last three clients have had substantial. I'll give you an example. There is a company I recently worked with. There's like 100 plus million ARR. Their base software license, gets sold to enterprises for $20,000 to $30,000 a year, their services get sold for 300,000 to $1 million per year.
Wow. Good. It's a good business for them.
Hmm.
Um, I'm still like trying to wrap my head around this convergence thing. Do you have a book coming out on that? That
No,
needs to
no,
be
maybe
something.
maybe I should start working on
Yeah, I think you should, or just ask
it.
ChatGPT, dictate it over a weekend,
Yeah, yeah,
and then send us a link. I'll blast
yeah,
that out. That's
yeah.
but seriously, you should write a book on it. Um, all right. So to throw your question back at you again in this future state, what is a product in 2028 when it's this convergent state of everyone has everything they could think of? Like, what is product then?
I think that's a very good question to ponder. Like, if the cost of code is zero, the cost of automation is zero, and that starts to come into the physical world, I think there will be a time in which you could make some money through humanoid robots to do some stuff. One of the examples that I've seen bandied about is like you have a leasing company for a robot, just like a car, and you lease out the robots. Question is how long
Yeah,
how long that will last. But yeah, I could see
yeah.
that you're becoming a intermediate provider of robots at the end. But even that has a curve, right? If that will start to become cheaper too. So
Mhm.
yeah, you can have technology products, or you can just have other businesses. Like, forget the word product, but then you'll just have other services business that become more increase in value, right? Like, think of
Mhm.
art training for like the guitar tutorial from a human being. Think of the art
Mhm.
teacher who doesn't get paid a lot today. Think of literature. Think of, like, if it really fulfills some promise of providing better means and lowers the cost of housing, lowers the cost of healthcare, lowers all of these costs, then it would, my utopian world would be that people then start to feel less stressed to actually pursue the things that they would do when they're not out there, making money.
Hunting. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hunting. But of course, like, I guess in the intermediate steps there's money to be made in, robotics. Like, that's what I feel, robotics or healthcare, or a mix,
Space.
humans providing some service with some hardware. But as
Hmm.
far as software is concerned, I'm I think that's where humans play the part of trust, where you may still get things delivered to you, but this whole product thing, you'll need a human to trust, because everything else will be so cheap. And that brings back to a point on pricing, because even
Hmm.
in the world of pricing, when things are too cheap, the premium players do not buy it, even if it works. People need to see a
Yeah.
high price point to build to trust in the price point. The price becomes a feature in itself. um
Wow. Wait, break that down. Break that down.
so there's
Is
been
it
studies done.
psychology?
Yes, no, this is placebo effect of pricing, right? People who buy an expensive thing actually derive more joy from it after studies are done. Or if you
Hmm.
buy a more expensive, even like pill, right, you're going to have a higher likelihood of getting treated or getting cured. So placebo effect is very real. Your belief
Hmm.
in something that it's going to be of more value, or your disbelief in it, actually affects literally meaningfully the outcomes in your life.
Hmm.
So price.
Metaphysics. Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is also, like, there are a lot of studies published on pricing actually for this
Well,
too.
but there's actual physics in it
Yeah, yeah,
behind
yeah,
it. You know,
yeah,
the whole
yeah, for
like
sure,
the CERN experiment. Have
for
you read
sure.
about that one?
No,
Yeah.
no, but
Yeah.
I'm curious about it. What's the certain experiment say?
I think it was in CERN. They were blasting. I think it was like electrons through this magnetized metal sheet with two slits
Oh,
in it,
okay,
to see what shapes it made on the other side, and it looked
yeah,
just like a flashlight. There was two slits on the wall.
yeah, double slit experiment.
But
Okay, yeah,
yeah, you read about it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was CERN, right?
I don't
The
think it was
particle
CERN.
accelerator.
I think I'm not. I think the base experiment existed just even before CERN. But I am
Because
100%. I think we're 100% on the same wavelength that
yeah,
it does affect, right? So So
Yeah,
that's
literally.
where
Yeah.
human trust becomes so much more important.
Interesting. So when you increase the price, they believe it's more valuable and they get a
Yeah,
better result from it.
yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
And the value of humans themselves will increase.
Yeah, I mean that's my dream. So this world, this future state that you're thinking of, is much more creative then,
Hmm.
because instead of spending all of our time hunting because everything's so cheap and so automated, there's a lot more investment in the like creative, like the arts, the
I'd
literature.
like to believe that. There is also a flip side
That'd be
to it,
fun.
that our economy cannot sustain in its current consumption model, right? So the economy itself changes because the
Mhm.
economy is based on
Scarcity.
maximizing consumption and more population. So as population reduces,
Yeah.
consumption reduces,
Hmm.
and the cost of production reduces. It's a very different, like, everything changes, everything
Hmm.
in the how the world works. So
Yeah.
it's not just SaaS. I believe everything is about to change.
Yeah. Well, this is exciting. There
Yeah.
needs to be a book. There has to be a book so people can get more of this. Um, but, I mean, if we're, hey, what are your thoughts on space and space industrialization? Have you read much there?
um I have very different thoughts on that. I'm not sure
Anything you're
the
comfortable sharing on
I'm
a
not sure the
podcast?
viewers of your podcast will enjoy these comments, but in my opinion, every 12,000, uh, there is something called the precession of the equinoxes. So we are
Yeah.
actually at the turn of, like, the one great year, which is, I think, 25,800 years. So the space
Yeah.
industry is ramping up because certain people in the world know that we're about to get hit by a torrid meteor stream and other meteors.
Oh God.
uh, and very likely, like, to what extent it happens, it really, there are other things that determine that. So
Yeah.
that is so I think, yes, I think that is an industry worth investing in, because people are going to be trying to deflect meteors and asteroids that are coming up in, like, 2032, 2033, and
All right.
2036.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll have to read more about that. My hunch is it's just about raw metals. I think somebody's looking at the asteroid belt saying, "Hey, there's tons of gold up there. Let's go there."
Mm, mm, mm,
Because
mm,
we're going to run out of copper here. That's what
mm, mm,
everyone spends all their time in the S&P 500. It's just like buy copper. We're running out
mm,
of it, and we're building
mm,
robots. Like it's going to go
mm,
up.
mm.
Um, but you know, outside of the meteors, do you think the rush of building an industry for multi-planetary living or like galaxy wide living um, is something that could like re-inject life or more of like a growth or expansion
I
type
think that's a
energy into our economy?
completely egoistic and dubious ambition that we have, because
Yeah.
we've managed to completely mess up one planet. Like,
Well,
the
you know how it
universe
goes.
must be out of its mind to allow us to go somewhere else to mess up something else.
All right, so it's against the rules. All right, so I
I'm not sure
understand.
it's against the rules, but I'm saying that the
Yeah.
the drive to do that is more of a cancerous drive, in my opinion, than anything that is actually progressive. Like, we've
A, con-
extinguished the
a
resources on one
consumption.
planet, and then we're
We go to another one.
going to, extinguish the resources on another planet. Which, this is, yeah, I am not in this Martian Elon Musk camp. I think that is the camp that wants to decimate one planet and then go to another planet to also extract resources. Right, this whole concept
Yeah.
of, I will extract the resources from this dead planet, does not account for the fact that the planet is a living planet.
Hmm. No, I agree with you. I agree with. I'm trying to understand where things are going to go though, and I feel like I definitely agree with you that our economy here is about to change dramatically because of the way we consume and the way tech's already displacing things. But I also get the sense that like we're going to start rushing towards something else. I think it's just human nature to chase something.
Yeah, there is,
Uh,
but that's the thing. There is no we here. This we, the media
yeah,
creates a narrative where you think that because Elon Musk is doing something, there is a we there. No, in my opinion, they are doing something. I'm not part of it.
Yeah, there's 200 companies that are building for inner
Yeah,
space
they
travel.
are. They are. Like, there are a
Yeah,
certain set of humanity that is
yeah,
convinced that that is the right thing for
that's the way
them.
to go.
But
Yeah,
I'm not. Again, there is no we here.
yeah, interesting. This has been a really fascinating call. I think on the bad idea, we established it's a feature. It's not a product, but you think it's a good feature. Do you think memes are well? It's a less bad feature than what we have now. Is that the final verdict?
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting. Like, memes are so powerful. That's
Yeah.
now that you say memes, right? Like, memes are such an effective conveyor of thought and
Mm-hmm.
emotion in just like one simple cartoon. It's
Mm-hmm.
interesting. Like, memes have there's something about memes.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. All right. So I'm going to spend the weekend building this idea then,
Oh, really?
because we've established. No, no, no. But I'm glad to get your endorsement. So the book is already out. If people want
Yeah,
to get the book,
yeah,
Amazon.
yeah. Price to Scale. We have two editions. Get the second edition
Mm-hmm.
of Price to Scale. High growth pricing, practical pricing for your high growth SaaS startup.
Perfect. And if people want to connect with you because they want some pricing advice or guidance,
Yeah,
LinkedIn.
I'm Ajit Ghuman. Just find me on LinkedIn. AJIT Ghuman. Thank you, and thanks for the plug.
Amazing, amazing. Well, thank you so much for hopping on and riffing with me. I think this is our like business improv, but hopefully we made
Hmm.
it fun for people to listen to.
Yeah.
And thanks for being so brave to dive into all those different topics. I think
No,
that's
no,
fascinating stuff to talk about.
of course.